Oh man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gray Space. I'm Zeke. That is Dre.
Yep, ours.
And we got another fire one for you guys this week.
Yes. We are back like we never left. Make sure you subscribe to become part of the tribe. Do us right. Hit that like and comment if you're rocking with the content. Hit us everywhere. Gray Space Network. IG especially. Or just hit the link tree. Find us. Now. Because y'all need to know that. Y'all need to pull up. We are back. Beautiful week. Can't ask for a better week out here in the zone. You know what I mean? The fifth coast. Yeah, man. Gorgeous week, man. You know what I'm saying? Hit a couple games. My uncle was in town this week. Fire.
Baseball season. It's upon us.
Hitting them spring training games.
Yep.
Like they going out of style. You know what I'm saying? Trying to endure the new rules, if you will, the pitch clock and
I want to say
no
too, man,
shifts and all that.
If anybody wants to get away, come to Arizona, man, for some spring training games during March. I think they should, man.
Oh man,
make a little trip out of it, man. A nice little 4-day weekend or something.
It's a good ass time.
Like you come down here, go catch a game. You want to do, go cruise up to Sedona or whatever. So if you're not like from around here, man, it's just a perfect time of year to be out here, right? Man. Like, and especially if you're baseball fans, like,
yeah.
And there's plenty to do in the city, anyways. But I'm just saying, you know,
and
like
the stadiums are super nice.
Oh, all of them, man. I think all of them have something a little special to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I do like that about this city in particular. And you know, obviously, if you're down in the Florida area, you know, you get the spring training games from the other half of the teams that are out there. But man, it's just fun to go to, man. They're cheap, you know, same type of food. So, you know, you get those dogs, you get a lot of the restaurants too. Like they'll put in like restaurants from those certain cities and put them in the stadiums. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting that authentic experience. And it's good to go see like not just your team, but go watch like, you know, we watched the Dodgers, but we went and watched the Royals and the A's and went and watched the Giants and the Padres. And, you know, it's a good time, man. And you check some of these stadiums out, man. Peoria's got like a whole like little playground in there for the kids, little water park. You know what I'm saying? So, and look, man, you're not going to get any closer to, you know, seeing a star player, right? Seeing
your team play than you are at these stadiums. You're right there, dude.
Right.
There's not a bad seat in the house. You are right.
Even in the outfield.
There. Oh, the lawn seats are fire.
Seats are awesome, dude, out there. You know,
fire.
Yeah, they're really cool. Plus, you can walk around like it's just.
Oh yeah,
I don't know, man.
Spend $15 on a beer. You know what I mean?
And that's the cool thing about it too. Like, because when you go to a stadium, right, and you want to get up, say you're in the outfield, and you get up and walk around, you're always inside somewhere. Now they have TVs and everywhere, so you can see.
Right.
But the cool thing about spring training, it's all kind of open.
So
you could like literally get up, walk, and kind of
still watch the game,
you know, and still kind of be part of like the crowd that's around and everything, you know, stuff like that. So
good ass.
Yeah, it's a good time, man.
You know what I'm saying? So I have no idea what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
But
thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. This is a great space as always. Nah, man. Let's talk about. I guess let's talk about dating, man.
Okay.
Let's talk about dating. I got a question.
Yeah. What you got?
I got a question. Pull up these notes. No, man.
You must have been thinking about this, man. Writing something down in notes. You know.
Oh man, you know me. If I can find it. Oh, here we go. All right. Has dating become too hard? Are there now, and I want to ask you this specifically,
okay,
as a bachelor,
right?
You know what I mean? We're actually putting together a show for you guys that don't know. It's going to be called the Gray Space Network Presents Zeke the Bachelor. It's going to be real cool. We're going to have Just to let y'all know. Has dating become too hard? Are there too many expectations? Are our roles not defined? Well, let's start with the first two.
Yeah,
we'll blend in, okay?
Let's start with the first one.
Has dating become too hard? Are there too many expectations?
Yeah. Let's start with that. I will say dating has not become too hard. No.
It has not become too hard.
No. Okay. It's not that it's become hard, in the sense that I guess you would have to maybe define it a little bit more. But like, is it hard to find a date, or is it just hard to date in general?
Just hard to date, like not to find a date. Is it hard to date?
So that kind of goes into all the other stuff. So I think we need to answer that, and then we could probably answer that at the end. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because
so are there too many expectations?
And I would say yes.
Okay.
On both sides.
Okay.
Right? I think what has ruined that for today is online dating apps. Has absolutely ruined that. Because we all know, right? Everybody uses social media around here. And if you want to be noticed in some sort of way, there's algorithms.
Right.
It's the same. There's nothing different with a dating app. It's going to, now you could swipe or whatever, but it's still some sort of algorithm that it's giving you.
Okay.
Right? And I think it's too much of, if you don't do this, I don't like you. So, I mean, it could be something stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I get like the whole religious aspect of things. If you're super Christian, you're whatever, whatever aspect you are of that, and you're like, I need to find somebody that is that.
Has the same beliefs.
I'm okay with that.
Right. 1000%.
But when you start putting hobbies in there, in the sense of, oh, if you don't go hiking or you don't enjoy going camping, or if you who cares? Like, legit, who cares? Like,
right.
I understand you want to do activities with each other.
Right.
But if you have a connection, a real connection with somebody, you will find stuff to do together.
Right.
It doesn't have to be specifically that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
There's middle ground. And I think that kind of goes away in the fact that if you don't do this, then I'm not going to like you.
Okay.
And I think that's there's like rules now. And it's a list. And it could go on for a super long time.
Right.
It's not like, I hope you're super cool, and like a sense of humor or whatever, all that kind of stuff. Now it's like, okay, you better check these boxes.
Yeah.
If you don't check these boxes,
you got to check all of them.
So I do. I think the expectations on both sides, and I'm not talking just women or just men, both sides of that is equally the same to me.
Okay.
I think equally men and women put on, a list that they have, right? And I think the trauma of previous relationships is part of that as well.
That's
right?
true. But
but if you are looking for somebody to, let's just say hiking, for example, right? That's fine. Like, you want to find a hiking partner, I get that. But when you have like a whole list of things of like, you can't do this or you should be doing this, that kind of stuff. Like, all right, like, your interests are your interests. That's cool, man. Well, like, I don't understand the issue of what the deal is, why we can't have different things to do. I don't want to date myself, dude.
Right.
I think that's really what it comes down to. If we have a couple things in common that we like to do together,
right,
that's like awesome.
Okay.
To me, like, if I don't like hiking and you like to hike, go hike.
Right.
I'll do my hobby. Well, we'll spend 2 hours, and I think that time apart is good, anyways.
Or I might not know I like it.
Right.
It might just be something that I just don't do, and then I'm like, I roll with you one time. It's like, oh,
yeah, this was
cool. A good ass time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the reason I ask is because, the big thing now on social media is you got all these, shows, podcasts, whatever, that are always talking. It's, it's the man's perspective, woman's perspective. And it's always, I'm a woman and I deserve this, and I'm a man and I deserve this. And I think that's okay, right? I think it's okay for us as human beings to say, look, I'm not going to deal with this. But I also think that it's like when you're trying to build a bear a fucking human, that's unrealistic. And it also, to me, it creates a space where you almost can't go through the dating phase, right?
Right.
Because it's like, as soon as one small thing, like not everything's a red flag. It's just a difference. And that's where I think like we got to be careful with how we word things, because you don't see relationships lasting the way they used to.
Right.
Right. And there's negatives to that as well. Like some people stuck around when they probably shouldn't have, you know, were in bad relationships. But there's also that point of like, no, we're going to go through this together. We're going to have these hard times. And then now we come out of it better because we went through it together. We compromised. I did something that, you know, I didn't even know I needed to work on that. Right. Or, you know, going through this changed me in a positive way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I and vice versa. Right. And I think when you come out of the bag and you're like, no, I need my man to, you know, do this and do this and do this and do this and be making, you know, whatever the number is. I think that's just a false sense of reality.
Oh yeah, dude,
I think it's a big false sense of reality, because I think part of the human experience is to help each other grow. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're already at the end level, what the fuck is the point?
Right.
Where's the rest of life?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you should be able to complement each other.
Yeah.
And you should
like
be
the
able
whole
to come
old
together.
saying of opposites attract.
Right.
That shit's out the window based on what I've seen of people's standards today as far as dating goes.
Right.
It's like, no, I need you to be exactly like me.
I don't know why people want that.
Yeah,
I really don't. I already live with myself, man.
Right.
On a continual basis. This thing up here called the brain never shuts off. And, you know, even when I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming about something. And
Right.
I'm working through some problem. I'm already dealing with myself enough. I don't want to deal with myself anymore. You know what I mean? Like, in that sort of sense. And I think there's something beautiful about interweaving each other into a relationship.
Yeah.
And having maybe a little bit...
Little yin and yang.
Again, there's nothing wrong with having similarities. I want to make that perfectly
Of course,
clear.
bro.
You know,
you have to. You can't
but
be
then
all the way.
also, I think it's also equally important to have stuff that you guys disagree on, and important enough to look at each other's side of it,
Right.
and agree to disagree or agree to agree.
Right. Right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
So another part of that is what I see a lot today is roles when it comes to the male and the female, right?
Okay.
And because obviously in the olden days, you know, the long time ago's days, you had the roles were very defined, right, for the most part. And you had the man went to work, wife stayed at home, blah, 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 right? And that's pretty typical. But obviously as times have changed, there's more women in the workforce, obviously than there ever was.
And it's also flipped in the sense of stay-at-home dads.
Right, which
Of
is
this day and
right.
age.
Which
You know what I mean?
there is that, right?
Which was unheard of back, you know, in the
Unheard of.
50s or whatever.
Right.
So.
But you're starting to see a lot of people be like, you know, no, I'm the man, you know, blah blah blah. You know, you're gonna do this and this and this, and I'm gonna be this and this and this, and that's fine. However, but are roles too defined? Like, are we putting too much definition on what roles should be? And maybe that's a part of the reason that the dating experience has become so hard. Are they not defined enough? Should there even be roles? Like,
And that's this is a weird question, and I'm not saying weird in the sense like weird, but I mean because man, this one in particular is really case by case basis.
You would think so, right?
Because,
but I don't think so because, and maybe it's just what I see.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think that like that's the narrative that's being pushed, right? And what I think what's so hard about that narrative is that you have two things being said that literally contradict each other, right? Both from men and women. Man needs to be able to do this, this, and this, and this,
mm-hmm.
and I need to be taken care of. But I need to be a boss and be independent. And you need to contribute to, well, wait. So are you a boss and independent and being taken care of? Or you see what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying.
Or you know, do you want to take care of and still want her to contribute? Like that makes no sense. To me, it's like, okay, what works for you personally? Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't think there's nothing wrong with, you know, the man being the provider, blah, 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 whatever, right? I think that's perfectly fine. And the wife sits at home, but the wife got to be doing something. You know, cooking, whatever it is. Like, you can't be like, no, I'm kicking, I'm going out shopping spree. And you know, now daddy come home and daddy don't get no meal. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
it also works like me and my wife. We both contribute equally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We both cook. We both clean around the house. We both contribute to the bills. Like, we work together in tandem.
Right.
And it fucking works for us. You know what I'm saying? And look, man, if there's the day where I can be like, yo, chill, and that comes up, which I'm hoping for, I will. And you know what my wife will say? Fuck you. I'm contributing. Because that's the way we work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She would never be like, I'm not contributing nothing. That's just how she is. So I think when you start to put this thing out in the world of like, this is the way no, it's not the way it should be. There's no particular way is what I'm saying. I think you were getting at that.
I am, and I have no answer for you.
Okay.
I really don't. It's an interesting question. I've never really necessarily come across it that in my personal life.
Okay.
I've never come across out of, you know, are there expectations of, in the sense of whatever they have? And then what I find out more often than not is the communication part of what do you expect? What do you expect from me? Or vice versa, what do I expect from you? Like, especially when you get deeper into it, right?
Right.
That's not, I don't think that's a conversation right off the bat, but it is definitely a conversation to have.
Right.
I mean, the first conversation you should have with somebody is this thing going to work? Is it compatible?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, let's see if we can go down this road. Anyways, but I think there is a point where it's like, well, what do we expect from each other? You know what I mean? And I think that's fine, laying down the ground rules for yourself to make yourself happy or whatever. Right. And if you don't agree with it, out.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Being like, oh, you're cool, but no, man, like, I can't deal. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? There's no way I can obtain what you're saying. Sorry.
Right.
You know, if it's like, I need you to make $250,000 a year, or if it's something like that.
Right,
I'm just throwing something out. Go ahead, go get it. I'm not the dude for you.
Right.
I make decent amount of money, but I ain't pulling 250.
Especially when you look at the median income.
Right.
You're like,
again,
if that's what you want.
If that's what you want, go get it. But you barking up the wrong tree.
Right.
Because it
in
ain't
the wrong
gonna happen.
neighborhood.
But I do think that should be established fairly quickly, though, too. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily first date, but maybe pretty soon.
And you know, a lot of times,
because if you're looking for something, man, and it don't jive with you,
right?
It just doesn't work.
So are you the type of person that you like first date? You're pulling out bells and whistles.
I think most people will know pretty much right away in the sense of if they have something there that they want to kind of see go beyond that first, that first date, that first coffee, that first dinner, whatever, that first meeting of each other, and really kind of talking. I think everybody kind of knows. Nope. Or, yeah, let's see where this goes. It could be a hard yes, too. It's very, in my opinion, that's a very slim thing of a hard yes. Like, yes, let's do this.
Okay.
It's usually more of like, oh, this is cool. Let's do this again. Because there's so much information, man. We are complex. There's a lot of, again, going back to the brain thing, we got a lot of stuff going on. And to share that and to reveal who we actually are and our motives behind things takes time.
It does.
But I think you need to be open and clear about that. And again, I think that comes to the roles, right?
Okay.
I think if you're clear enough with the roles, but that goes to communication. Always. Go look at our our podcast, man. I mean, it's with just you and me talking about stuff.
Right.
We talk about communication a lot.
All the time.
Because it is. It's really key. You have to, I can't read your mind of what you want and what your needs are. And it might not be money. It might be like a physical need that you need. And I cannot provide that for you.
Yeah,
you're going to be miserable.
You might want that back broke 3 times a day. I ain't got it for you. It's maximum.
And it might be that. You know what I mean? Like as far as like love languages goes, like people love to be touched or whatever, and you're like, I really can't. I could do that a little bit for you, but I'm not sure I can meet that need for you on a continual basis. You're going to get mad at me. You're going to, it's going to go down this road and you're going to start resenting me. So let's just say we're good.
What's the weirdest dating experience?
Oh God, dude. You're going to really go down this road.
Come on, man.
You already know what it is.
I want to, the people don't let the spacers know, doggy. They need to know.
The weirdest dating is somebody who showed me what I wanted to see for a long period of time, a good amount of time.
Okay.
And pulled the wool over my eyes. And luckily, I came to the point of, man, I'm seeing red flags. I know I talked to you about it. I'm like, this seemed like a red flag. You even convinced me it wasn't a red flag.
I did.
And I'm not, and listen, I don't say that to throw you under the bus because, because legitimately though, because this was the very early stages of that, the red flag thing. And you're like, I don't know, man, you might want to, because you gave me solid advice in the sense like, are you sure?
Right.
Like, are you sure about all this?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you're right.
Being too careful.
Right. You're right. Let me see. You know what I mean? And it just goes down this weird path, and you're like, oh no. It's just, oh no. And it's the best description I could give you is if any of you guys watched The Wizard of Oz, towards the end, when the wizard is, and fire's going up and he's projected on the thing, and then Toto goes over there and pulls the curtain behind. That's exactly what happened with me.
Okay.
I was like standing there going, this is kind of scary. And then and I'm like, oh, there's the real person in there. And it's weird when somebody kind of knows you and knows exactly what buttons to push or what direction they want to lead you in. But I tell you what, man, the truth will always come out. So that is probably the weirdest thing that's ever, like, I've never really been in something that was been like crazy, violent or anything like that. But just pulling the wool over my eyes and showing me something that they were not.
Right.
They were not that person that I met for 2 months. Were not. It was weird, man. And all of a sudden when it started like really coming down to it, once I saw like the little snippet behind the curtain.
Right.
I mean, it went fast.
Right.
It went really fast downhill. And it was like, I can't, you think about it because you're like, am I that dumb? you really question yourself, and that's the thing. And then you go, you have to really come to the, because you might be that dumb,
right.
Just straight up. I'm sorry if you are, but you might, be not that smart to pick up on the cues. But man, look out for certain cues that are red flags for you in particular, because it could get crazy, man.
Yeah.
Because they could be good looking.
Yeah.
And they could just pull you. I mean, and money too. I mean, shoot. Everything was, listen, man, everything was presented to me in a way of like sunshines and rainbows.
Right. Be our guest, be our guest. You know what I'm saying?
And they just.
It's like, oh shit, the beast lives here too? Goddamn.
Yeah. I'd just rather somebody just be straight up and upfront. Right. Just be who you are.
Have you ever had an awkward?
Oh, I've had an awkward date.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, like one date that was like super awkward.
Oh, yeah, dude. I went on the date with this girl, man, and first of all, it started where I met her online, okay? And we were talking, and I asked her, like, pretty much right off we sent like 2 or 3 text messages to each other. And I said, oh, let's go meet up somewhere. Wherever you want, wherever you feel comfortable. Coffee shop, it doesn't matter to me. I want you to feel comfortable. She goes, I'm not ready for that. And I said, okay, cool, whatever. So we chatted for like a week. And she said, well, aren't you going to ask me out? And I said, I already did. The ball is in your court at this point.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, you want to go somewhere? Let's go somewhere. So we chose a place to go. We went to go eat.
Okay.
So I said, okay, I set it up, made reservations. It was a nice little steakhouse. Nothing crazy. Just a nice little place. And made the reservation, met her there. Sweet. When the first interaction was nice,
Did she look?
It's weird. It's always, that's always an awkward moment, like, especially not actually meeting each other.
Right.
You've only, like, texted each other over and seen pictures.
Right.
Is weird.
Did she look like the picture?
She did. Yes,
okay.
She did. I do have another story if you want to hear, if we have time for it real quick.
Oh,
that
man.
didn't look like their picture.
I want to hear it all.
Okay. So I'll try to speed this one up.
You're good.
We're going on a date. It was weird. She asked for, like, we're at a steakhouse. She asked for, like, lemonade and, like, a strawberry lemonade is what it was.
Okay.
And the waiter goes, we don't have strawberry lemonade, but our Coke machine has lemonade. Could maybe spruce something up? I don't know. So they had to, like, do this whole workaround thing with it. And I was like, okay, whatever. That's kind of quirky, but whatever. Okay, She wanted strawberry lemonade. All right, cool. We at a steakhouse. Do you want a strawberry lemonade? All right.
Right.
Cool, whatever. It's like asking for Kool-Aid at a place or something, that doesn't.
Right.
It's just kind of weird, bro. So anyways, we're kind of talking, and it's getting kind of weird and kind of dull at this point. But then she pulls her purse out, and she pulls a bottle of water on the table.
Okay.
And I'm just staring at the water going, she already has, by the way, you know how they always give you a glass of water, right, with whatever you're drinking. Glass of water. And I'm like, what's a bottle of water for? And then pulls a big old pill bottle out and sets it on the table.
Oh, Lord.
And she goes, hey, you need to remind me to take my pills in about 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, whatever. So, like, I said, are you going to take your pills or what? And so she took her pills, and it just got more and more awkward from there.
Okay.
Dude. And just the conversations got weird. Anyways, so
did she ever tell you what the pills were for?
No, I never went down that road, dude. I couldn't do it, dude, because I already knew at this point.
You didn't even try to sneak a look like.
Listen, dude, I already knew at this point that I wanted to see her again.
Right.
Like, I was just, pleasantries were in the middle of dinner at this point. So I'm like, I'm hungry. I know you're probably, let's just eat and let's go.
Right.
So she starts, like, giving me the sob story of she can't drive because of the medication, she didn't know what to do. She didn't know how she was getting home. I said, how'd you get here? She goes, I took a taxi. And I was like, where do you live? I was like, I'll just take you home. If you don't mind me knowing where, I'm not going to do anything. But, if you don't mind me seeing, like, the place that you live. She goes, oh, I live over here. So we're in the car, and it's actually a short distance. It's probably only like about 2.5, 3 miles from the actual restaurant. It wasn't really not that far at all.
Okay.
Because I wanted her to be, like I said, comfortable in the city. We were in Tempe. I live in North Phoenix. So, anyways, go, and she kind of goes in for a kiss for me, dude. And I'm in the car, and I'm like, no. So I lean as far over as I can to my door. And I'm like, have a good night. And she got out of the car and never saw her again.
That's crazy, bro.
Oh, and she texted me and she goes, I want to see you again. And I said, no, I'm good. She goes, I can't believe you wasted my time, all this stuff. And I just never responded. I was like, we both wasted each other's time if you really want to look at it.
Right.
I mean, it just didn't, I wasn't feeling nothing. I'm sorry you felt something. I wasn't feeling nothing. Okay. Last story I'll tell you was.
That's crazy.
I met her online.
Mm-hmm.
Again, went to dinner. She didn't look anything like her pic. Dude, I walked in the restaurant and I said, hey, dinner for two, and I gave my name, yada, yada, all that stuff. And I was like, I'm waiting for somebody. Dude, she was there the whole time. She was sitting down there by the whole time. And I'm just sitting there waiting, and I text her, and I heard a ding from her phone and was like, that's weird. I looked over and I was like, I can't remember her name at this time, but she was, and I was like, oh, hey, what's up? How you doing? Whatever, so.
Damn.
And so we sat down and it actually started off pretty good.
Okay.
This one started off pretty good, but this is when it got really weird.
Okay.
I think I told you about this one as well. But
okay. Now, did she look worse or just different?
She just looked different.
Like, so she just wasn't, it wasn't a case of like, she looked like, oh my gosh, I thought I was getting this. What the hell is this? It was just like.
I legit thought for a second I was getting catfished for a second. Because I was like, or I don't know if that's the correct term or not.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, like, dude, they didn't look anything like. I even went back at the end of that date and went and looked at those pictures, dude. Because I was like, because, they were still on her profile. So I was like, this isn't even the same woman. Not even the same. So anyways, It got really political really fast. And it was right before, it was in 2019. And it was when Hillary and Trump were.
Right.
Was that 2019? What year was that? 2016.
2016. Right.
And so it just got really, weird because she was like, if this was one of those things, kind of what I brought it up. If you're not a Democrat, I don't like you. And I was like, I don't subscribe to any of that shit. And she's like, what do you mean you don't subscribe to any of that stuff? And I said, I just don't subscribe to that. So she goes, as it goes progressing into that, she basically called me a racist at this point. And she goes, I have black children. And she goes, you seem like the type of person that wouldn't like black kids. Bro, I paid that check as fast as I could.
She don't even know. That's hilarious.
But that was probably like, I was like, you don't even know me. What are we doing here? Because I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. Like, I ain't subscribing to that. Like,
that's hilarious.
And it went straight into, well, it's probably because you're racist and I have black kids and you probably don't like black kids. And I was like, oh my God, dude. Is this really happening right now, bro? It was weird, man.
That's hella funny, bro. Damn. I remember that.
Yeah, I've been on some good dates and I've been on some bad dates. You know, like those are probably like the two weirdest ones. Obviously, the relationship one, I actually got into somewhat of a little bit of a short-term relationship with that one. And man, there was some that was like kind of cool, but it just didn't work out, you know? And I actually look on those kind of fondly in the sense of it was a cool experience to get to know somebody it just, when we got to that point, it was like, and we just, cool.
Right.
This isn't it.
Right.
You know, and there was no hatred or bad feelings towards one another. It was just, it kind of came to the end of the road after a couple months or 3 months, whatever, you know. And it was just like, we're good. And there's some that I feel like have gotten away.
Right.
You know, those ones kind of bug me, but in the sense, I don't know what they're feeling either. So I know I'm carrying a lot of feeling towards it because I'm like, damn, I feel like they were the one, but they didn't feel it that way. You know, you just got to move on.
Right.
You know, and not try to harp on that too much. So dating is weird, man. And it got for sure weird after COVID. It got more weird. You know, I went back on the dating apps. It's funny enough, 2019, that's why I thought 2019 was actually a pretty decent year for me because I was going out and I was like just kind of meeting people naturally. And it was really nice and refreshing to meet people naturally. Again, same things in the sense of you meet people that are, you know, I met more better people, quality people than I did online.
Right.
For sure. You know, because you kind of can automatically be like, oh, this person might be cool to hang out with. And you hang out with them and you're like, oh, okay, this isn't going to work. You know, you move on, whatever. But you're like, hey, they're still a cool person, just not relationship wise.
Right.
You know, that type of thing. So, but when COVID happened, it got really weird, man. It was like, I'm not going to come see you at all. Don't even ask me. And I was like, whoa. You know, and to a certain extent, I agree. But I mean, like, and I'm not talking like 2020. I'm talking like 2021. Towards I'm like, dude, we both good. Like, why don't you want to just meet up? Like, at least find out from each other if this is something that we want to go down the same road. You know what I mean? And it just was like, no, I ain't meeting nobody. And it's like, then why are you on here?
Right.
Like, what's the point? I get, like, you know, doing things like, you know, because the phone call, like a Skype phone call, right? Like, especially if you're doing it online, it's not through your phone necessarily. It's through the actual dating sites thing. So, anyways, and I think it's progressively getting weirder.
Okay.
I think it was easier in 2019 than it is now in 2023.
Right.
I think 2019 was like, I was meeting really cool people in 2019. Again, like I said, some of them were like, you don't want a relationship, but they're still cool people. You know what I mean? And then some of them you like kind of try to pursue some things and didn't necessarily work out. But at least I was like, I don't feel like I can't meet anybody today.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to pin that on. Like, I know all your questions that you had. Like, it's, you know, and I think all of those are some sort of aspect to that, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's why we got to do this show, man. The Bachelor, Zeke the Bachelor, presented by the Gray Space Network. We're going to put together a nice little lineup of ladies. So if you have a lady friend that's between the ages, give me some ages, man. Between the ages, between the ages of 38.
We'll just cut this part out. We'll edit this part out.
And yeah, if you know have a sister and aunt, man, submit their name and their Instagram into the Gray Space Network IG, and we're gonna get this show together, man. It will be hosted by me. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a dope show. Zeke the Bachelor coming to y'all last quarter 2023 is gonna be a good ass time, man. We doing this. Yeah, man. Dating. What do you guys think? Let us know down in the comment section below. Right next to the names that you submit. For all our listeners, we appreciate y'all.
Yep.
You know what to do.
By the way, hold on to the one that you got, man. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're in a decent relationship, make it work. Seriously, make it work,
Make it
man.
work.
Because it's tough out there. You don't want to be alone for too long.
Zeke the Bachelor.
So you guys stay safe. You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, submit all your goddamn names. This is The Gray Space.
Peace.